ready? From the beauty of the mountains, PMI Ghana welcomes you to Sogakope for the 2021 PMI Conference. Learn, share, network, expand your horizon. Theme: Transforming Businesses Through Project Management and Digitalization. Date is July 29 to 30th, 2021. Be inspired to innovate all in one space. Platinum sponsors: PMI, Nocheski, Hatwa On Point, Bust. Gold sponsor: Afrisons. Silver sponsor: Baroque Ventures Limited. Virtual platform by Moxie. And powered by Eagle Eye Projects and Events.
I'm going to take any more time. I think at this point we'll enter into our first panel session, which will be led by none other but our very own project manager for Fidelity Bank, Emmanuel Amankwano. Please, let's put our hands together for Emmanuel Amankwano. I'll hand over the microphone to him and he would have his introduction and introduce also his panel members. They'll take their seats right here on the stage for you, please.
Very much, Ato. And we are very happy to have the first panel session. We have 3 gentlemen amongst us who will be invited to the platform, and then we will discuss about digital transformation. The panelist is Jonathan Addo. Jonathan is a professional leader with more than 16 years of work experience in the fields of project management, IT, electrical and instrumentation, engineering, and in the following industries: mining, telecommunications, and banking. He actually heads a high-performing team, executing various projects and managing operations. He's also a certified project manager with strong inclination towards multicultural projects. Now, second on the list is Elon Raccoon. Elon is an experienced application lead with a demonstrated history of working in the financial sector, software development, and business consulting. He's also skilled in project management, agile practices, business analysis, enterprise architecture, software testing, software development lifecycle, and Microsoft technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we give him another round of applause? Our third panelist is in the person of Victor Karikari. Victor is having 5 years of experience in construction management and artificial intelligence. He does research in artificial intelligence as well, and he has extensive work experience in construction management, specifically construction project cost planning and control, working on a number of projects across the country. He also has 2-year experience working as a facilitator for KNUST Distant Learning Program with the Department of Construction Technology and Management. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our panelists, and I will be facilitating the discussion with them. Sorry, it's all gentlemen, but I know we understand, right? So far, we've had ladies throughout from the beginning up to this time. So we give the time for the gentlemen also. No bias. Okay. So, gentlemen, we really appreciate your time here. We know you have a lot of experience in digitalization. You've done projects in this space. So we're going to go through some few questions to wow our listeners about digitalization. So the first question I would want to ask, Jonathan would want to take this for us first. How should organizations view digitalization? Because we have a number of organizations who are here.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I think that we must all come to the basic understanding that digitalization, digital transformation has come to stay. It is never going anywhere. Right. So the earlier, we all embrace it, the better. Right. And as a result, it is up to management and management members to consistently think of using that opportunity as a tool. Right. So it goes to tell us that once we take strategy, you must always think of having that element of digital transformation in them. And that should be it.
Thank you very much for that. Let me ask the same question also to Elon. What do you also think about that? How should organizations view digitalization?
Thank you very much. I think the view is broad in terms of how organizations should see digitalization. For me, there's a difference between digitalization and digitization. Digitalization is actually the processes and the things you do to achieve your digital goals. Okay, so the two must be well separated so that it is well understood and it is well implemented. Okay, so currently now, digitization or digitalization, in fact, the way to go is it's disrupting a lot of things in the market. It's disrupting a lot of people. Okay, so we do not have any choice than to re-strategize towards your digitalization strategy and agenda. That's how I think companies and organizations should see.
Yes, let me just add to
Thank you.
that. And for those of you who are a little, I'm sure some may be struggling to really strike the difference between, and this is English, digitalization, and digital transformation. Well, I think you can basically reduce it to this. Look, when we are all born, we crawl, right? So you take the crawling bit as the digitization, right? Then afterwards, we begin to walk, right? It is walking you will look at as digitalization, right? There's an L-I in there, right? Then when you begin to walk, later on you grow to learn to run. And that is what we will call digital transformation. So just in short, please. That is it. Thank you.
This is really layman's language, right? In the layman's language, we can be able to break this long word and confusing word into smaller bits. Okay, now let me go to Karikari as well. How should organizations view digitalization?
All right, so the view is broad, like my brother said, but no matter how an organization views it, it's here to stay. So we have to be ready as an organization. We should be able to adapt to these new changes. They call it the fourth industrial revolution. So it started from somewhere, and then anytime that there's a change, people adapt. And those organizations that are not able to adapt will definitely go out from the system or they will collapse. So it's not about how you are going to view it, it's about how you are going to adapt your organization. Now they call the agile way of handling things. You should be agile so that you can adapt to these kind of new changes, because the view doesn't matter because it is going to be there. So as an organization, we should be prepared. We should have all those kind of innovative ideas that will make this thing useful for the organization, because it will definitely increase your competitive advantage as a firm, and then it's going to help you increase your share. Everything helps an organization develop, so you should be able to grab these changes and then make it work for your organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, it sounds that if an organization decides not to embark on this digitalization, it's likely to be left behind. We know of Kodak and other companies like that, right? They couldn't adapt, and for that reason, they are no more in business. Okay, let me ask this second question. what key initiatives can be taken to leverage the benefits of digitalization? What initiatives can organizations undertake to be able to benefit from this power of digitalization? Jonathan.
Okay, so I think I'll talk about one or two. Like we say in the Akan language, I think there's a proverb like that. Anambia Besaya, a shasi uniti. Right. I don't know how to put it in English. But I think ideally, right, if anything is going to get spoiled, right, I think normally, most of the time, what you see is that it begins from the top, right? And it's the same way we look at digitalization. I think that it all begins with strategy, right? Let me begin to say a little strategy, right? Yes. I think that it all begins with strategy, right? And one other thing I would also add, and that is most of the time, I mean, people lose the fact that it's all a risk, a big risk, and that is change management, right? Most of the time, management members, of course, like Madam was saying, we know everything, right? But it ends up such that before you realize, change management, which was supposed to have been an enabler, would rather turn up to be a destructive force that would destroy the company or organization to certain levels that cannot be rescued. Right. We saw it in Kodak, we saw it in Nokia, and Research Emotion. I'm sure some of you know Research Emotion. What is it?
Blackberry.
Blackberry, good. When everybody was moving to touch, they were saying penny de penny, right, and stuff like that. Right. So these are the two main things I will quickly talk about. Right.
Thank you very much. Yes, so we're looking at the initiatives that organizations can leverage on to be able to embark on this agenda.
So I think, like Jonathan said, it starts from strategy. And strategy means that organizations need to look at their business model and their operating model. Before you embark on your digitalization agenda, these two things must change. You must still know, because before you embark on it, your business model and your operating model are still the old way of doing things. So you cannot be thinking digitalization whilst your business model still stays as it is. The first thing you must do, I believe, is you must re-look at your business model and realign it to your digitalization agenda. Okay. And once you do that, it informs you to also change your operating models. So how we work. Okay, how we work so that we can deliver on the agenda that we have set for ourselves as an organization.
Thank you very much. What about Victor? What would you also say?
Okay, so anytime that there is a massive evolution like this, it comes with change. There should be an organizational change, and there should be leaders who are able to push this kind of change. So, for instance, one of the dominant aspect of digitalization is the machine learning, right? And then data analytics. Now, these two things thrive on data, excessive amount of data, so that you can get some insights from those data. So organizations have to move from treating data to be able to a new era where they are able to keep lots of data and then try to get insights from it, not treating data as something that is just for the archives. Because there are so many insights that you can get from those past data that you have, from the way you used to treat customers to the way you are now going to in construction, how you are going to do with your workers and all that. There are so much data that you can get insights from. So we should develop a kind of culture that will help us keep data, right? And then from there we can get those insights and then help improve our competitive advantage. So as we are moving to digitalization as a world, we should look at ways that can drive it, and one of the biggest way is our ability to keep a lot of database to help our organization move on.
Thank you very much. That reminds me of the data analytics bit of matters. Can you speak a bit more about that? Because we realize that many organizations have data sitting down there in warehouses, and they are not drawing on the insight that they can get from that. So are there any tools that you think you can recommend for organizations who have data, but they are not making any good use, or they are not learning from the data? Are there any things you can share with us?
Well, I would say, first of all, that there are 1,001 tools. There are 1,001 tools. The most important thing is you know what to use and for what purpose. All right. In fact, I am pretty sure that almost all of us here who run businesses or are in our offices, one way or the other has something to do with Microsoft. So the most basic tool you could ever use, right? Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access. In fact, it looks like these days, you talk of Access and it's like something in the past. All right. Look, these two are just enough. These two are just enough. But if you're like some of the companies I know who want to spend, right? I had a chat with one very nice, good friend of mine. And initially when we started, I want to do this, Jonathan, I want to do this, can you help me, can you advise me, I want to do this. Then just yesterday, I engaged other members of management, and it's like the guys want to spend. We don't even know what we are doing, and they want to employ like 20 guys. This is COVID, my brother. Look, when we get to that level, we can decide to now begin to spend on real serious Microsoft analytic tools. I mean, we are talking about millions of dollars. Yes, Oracle has perfect solutions, right? So there are 1,001. I'm sure my colleagues will mention a lot more.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan. I don't know if Victor, you want to talk about that?
Because I'm in the construction firm, I'm mostly skewed towards that area a little bit. So I want to talk about something that we started doing. Right? We wanted to develop a tool that will help us predict the cost of a project. Now, in predicting the cost of a project, there are so many factors that come inside. And one of the major ones is the location, right? So where are you executing the project? So we wanted to get a database on prices across the country. And we found out that there's non-existent. So it means that we have to start from scratch. Even the existing ones, they are not updated, right? So it makes it difficult for you to even get a kind of demarcation as to how prices are within different aspects of the country. So it has to start from somewhere, that is establishing those databases. And if we have that, it means that we can get inside and know that, okay, if I'm doing my project in Volta region, right, these are the kind of expectations I should be looking for in terms of labor, in terms of materials, in terms of other resources I'm going to need. So it's just a matter of getting those data in Excel or anything. Then you can get insight from how these things work, and then we can implement it. It makes our predictions more accurate than it is now. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Elon, you want to pick up on that as well? Okay, that's fine. So what would be the role? What do you think is the role of project managers when it comes to digitalization? What should be our key role? Is it happening that we will leave digitalization for only maybe the technical people? What about the project managers? What is our role?
All right, so my brother was giving an example where people just want to invest without actually knowing what they want. That's where a project manager comes in. You should be able to go through all the processes we know a project manager does: planning, coordinating, making sure that we achieve the goals that we set to achieve as an organization. So you don't just start by, I've heard about digitalization, so I'm just going into. You should have a direction, right? And you cannot always start huge. you should see the needs of your organization and how digitalization is going to affect it, right? So a project manager we should be able to align all these goals so that to help the organization in achieving what it is set to do. And then in implementation too, there are costs involved, there is time limitations, there are some stakeholders that you are going to do. And as project managers, we are versed in all these kind of management issues, costs, stakeholder communication, and all that. So as a project manager, you should be able to coordinate all these things and make sure that the goals that you want to achieve are done, right? So that's where a project manager comes in, and then meaning that he should also have some knowledge on digitalization as we are learning now.
Thank you very much. So all project managers who are leading such digital transformation agenda of organizations, we definitely want to understand what is happening in the system, what's changing, and how we can leverage on that.
I think I will add to that.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, in fact, before I even add to that, right, and to all the project managers here, I think I should remind you, the future is very bright, right? I was just reading a study from PMI, and PMI is saying that for the next 9 years, right, actually they said 10 years, right, for the next 10 years, per year, right, the world is going to be in need of 2.3 million project managers, right? And this was done in 2019, right? So ladies and gentlemen, this was before COVID. So if there's COVID now, and you and I know that the work of project managers has even become more important than even those days, then I'm pretty sure I'll take a wild guess and say, in fact, let's make it 3 million a year. Times 10, that makes 30 million project managers for the next 10 years. So it tells you that as a project manager, look, it all starts and ends with you, right? Like the way I was telling you about the African proverb, the tree proverb, right? The whole operational strategy of any organization begins with a project, right? And look, this is like IT. What you see is what you get. Garbage in, garbage out, right? If you start the project in that haphazard, wishy-washy way, you are definitely going to transition it into operations in the same wishy-washy way. All right. So it tells you that your role is very important. And talking about your role means 3 main things. 1, your technical competence, and I've always been stressing on that. You shouldn't be a project manager who is doing construction, who can't interpret what is what concrete aggregate. They are talking about beams, they are talking about columns, and you want to tell me you don't really understand what they are talking about? Then it means you yourself, you are a big risk to that project, right? The second thing is your business and management skills, right? I'm sure I shouldn't talk too much about that. And the last thing, which actually, if you ask me, I would say is the first. Because with it, you can achieve easily the second and third. And that is your leadership role as a project manager. Right. I'm sure we've learned so much on the leadership now. I don't have to talk about it more.
That's right. That's right. Thank you very much.
I think there's a... Uncle Boo, any... Great.
Okay. So my last question I'll ask because of time. So how do you see the future when it comes to digitalization? Maybe 5 years, 10 years from now, what would you say is the future bright with digitalization? Does it look gloomy, or what would you say about it?
The future is very bright, and before this question, if project managers are ready for this job, I think the earlier speakers spoke about power skills, and that skill goes beyond just getting the project management certification. Okay, so you must develop your skills, the constant learning and improving upon yourself. So 5 years to 10 years from now, it will be very hard to guess into the future, but looking at how technology or digitalization is disrupting how we work, I think 10 years ago, we would not be having a meeting or a conference where we have virtual teams online. So I think that there's a lot more surprise coming in the next 5 to 10 years. And the only thing that will get you ready is your power skills, how you are upgrading and learning along the trends, the new things that are coming.
Thank you very much. Okay, Victor, can you make it brief so that we may take 1 or 2 questions and then we can...
I wrote something down here I want to share. A study conducted by Mackenzie Global Institute said he was focused on AI, which is part of digitalization. He was saying that AI is going to displace 400 million to 800 million jobs by 2030. And then it's going to create 555 million to 890 million by 2030. That is in 10 years' time. So it means that it's going to displace jobs, but it's still going to create more. So we should be ready as project managers, as PMI, that's the institute, should be ready for this effect that is going to have on the whole world. And then the industry is not going to be spared. So it all comes down to a continuous learning process, right? You should always strive to better ourselves into new skills that are required for you to be able to stay in this digitalization world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then briefly, Jonathan?
Yes,
a few seconds.
My brother Elon was saying the future is bright. Ladies and gentlemen, I think there is more. The future is also very dark. Right. And it is very dark to those who don't want to move. Right. It is extremely dark to such people. But what we are saying here is that in 10 years' time, whether you like it or not, there will be surprises. There will be surprises. And it may all begin with the magic of measures and acquisitions. Right. So that is it. I think I should end here.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Thank you very much, my panelists. Before we go, we'll just entertain a question or two from the audience to the panelists, and then we can end our session. Any question for the panelists? Any question from the audience? Maybe we can just take a question or two. For our friends also on the virtual platform, you may want to type in your question and then that can be shared with us. Any question? Okay. So, gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for making the time with us.
It is still the 2021 National Project Management Conference here at the Sogakope Beach Resort in association with our partners for Platinum sponsors, Project Management Institute Lucheski, Hatwa Unpoint, as well as Bost, who are Platinum sponsors, and our Afrisons, our Gold sponsor, as well as Dayrock Ventures Limited, who are Silver sponsors, and our virtual platform brought to you by Moxie, and all of this put together by Eagle Eye Projects and Events. We'll take a break here for lunch.